chair during that discussion. For comments on other school district matters, you may speak during the designated public comment period. Before speaking, state your name and keep remarks brief. Respectful conduct is expected at all times, and the chair may interrupt or end comments that are too long, off-topic, inappropriate, or violate privacy rights. This is a school board business meeting held in a public setting. Thank you for your cooperation in keeping it professional and on track. We'll move down to the reviewing and adopting of this year's agenda.
I move to adopt the agenda as presented.
I second.
We have a first and a second to adopt this agenda as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Wonderful. Moving on to the next agenda item, which is public comment. This is an opportunity for the public to share brief comments of no more than 3 minutes on matters not listed on the agenda. Legal issues and complaints should follow the grievance procedure outlined in policy 1700. The board will not respond to comments during the meeting, as its role is to listen and consider public input rather than to engage in discussion. At this time, do we have any public comments? Very good. Moving on to item number 4, which is approving the minutes. First, from the meeting which occurred on June 17th, 2025.
I did leave on the June she does walk us through if there's any, if something happens and she's not here to call her, she always answers it, always walks us through, FaceTime us, send her pictures.
Oh, perfect.
So she's available, otherwise she's not on site.
Yeah, if $17,234 is 1 day a week, if you multiply that by 4, we'd be pushing 80 grand. And I'll tell you, as a nurse, I wouldn't do it for less than 70 grand a year.
Yeah.
Not even
I knew it was
close.
gonna be a lot, but I know that parents were worried, and I know what any other school I went to when I was a child, there was no nurse.
I know, and
How
how
did
does
she
she do it?
She's split between all 3 schools in the county.
Yeah, we had a full-time nurse when I was in school here.
And so many districts now just have like a health aide, and so it's a paraprofessional that's helping cover, you know, because they can't find one because you're not gonna find a nurse.
Yeah, to be a school nurse, you have to have a bachelor's degree. And typically bachelor's and associate's degree nurses will make the same coming out of college in a hospital setting. But when you start to go to those different places that a bachelor's educated nurse could work, like you can be like a parish nurse and work for a church, or like a church conglomerate, you can work for a school. There's a pretty big handful of jobs that require that bachelor's degree. So it's like a whole different realm. Yeah.
For some reason, I thought maybe like, I didn't think that school nurses were actually like full-blown nurses. I don't know why I thought that when I.
We are just another one of those professions that just kind of gets lowballed in terms of, public, totally, public respect and understanding for sure.
Also, a friend of mine, she works with the University of Montana in the nursing program, Sally, and she asked if we would be interested in having an intern, because they're always looking for interns, for different options. And so I have that on my list of things to talk to Jen about, because Jen would have to oversee it. It wouldn't be every day, but it might get us 4 days. So Jen would have to approve it and kind of oversee it and do some work with it, but that is on my list now. So that might be an option to give us a little bit more time.
Sally Rappel,
Yes, yeah. She's,
you know I know Sally.
yep, she's a great friend of mine. It's actually my mom used to work with her at the nursing home.
And that is legit, I did that when I was in college too, that final semester.
Yep.
Yeah, just another place to get those $20.
Yep. Okay, so we'll try, you're on it. Trying, thank you.
I motion that we approve claims 19012 through 19055 for the amount of $112,310.59. Payroll number 250 through 177 and 20074 through 20080 plus direct deposits equaling $69,009.66.
Second the motion.
All right, we have a first and a second to approve claims number 19012 through 19055 in the amount of $112,310.59. And also payrolls number 2500, excuse me,
Yes, it's correct if you look on the other page.
we're starting over. What's going on?
It's just a break in the,
It's just the way the checks are.
yeah.
Okay. Payroll number 250 through 177 and 20074 through 20080, plus direct deposits in the amount of $69,009.66. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose?
So that was for July, there's also 280s for August. Just because they're now for
So there is.
first and a second to approve claims number 19039 through 19082 in the amount of $26,466.12. And also payroll number 20082 through 20087, plus direct deposits in the amount of $44,705.38. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Wonderful. Moving on to item number 6, which is the administrator report.
Here's have got in front of you, a couple of facilities things. We are boiler inspection, we have that annually. We're still looking for a boiler maintenance person, but Betsy and I have reached out to a couple of companies that are gonna come out, make sure we're all set for the school year, get it started and those kinds of things. So we're good on the boiler stuff. Connie and Steve and those two boys have worked very hard this summer, done a great job cleaning it, so things are ready to go for the school year. Meetings, I spent last Tuesday with Hatton, and we went to a number of businesses, we went to the council meeting, and just kind of visited with some community members about what they'd like to see, and so it's great to start meeting some people in the community. Hatton will also join us at open house. She's gonna have a table to just kind of ask a few more questions and try to engage with a few more people since the survey number was pretty low. And so she'll have all of that information with her, so that was very helpful for me. PIR days, I think we're all set for Monday and Tuesday with the teachers. We have, Upper 7 has said yes, so they will be here September 9th, to discuss, that situation with you guys. Budget stuff, Betsy and I think we're all set there. We've got a couple of e-grants things, our title money finally came through. We also received a gifted and talented grant this year, so we're going to look at some options to see how we can use that money, what that looks like, trying to do a little bit of extra, for our advanced kids. So I'm meeting with them actually on Friday to discuss our options there. It's a small amount, but it's a 2-year grant, and so it will give our advanced kids a little bit of opportunity. We are
should do it evening time, that way
Okay.
nobody thinks that we're trying to.
Right. So we want to do 6 p.m., Monday the 18th, and on Zoom.
Yep.
Sounds great. We will get all of the paperwork out to you guys on Friday. So we have that 2 day and get it posted. Out of district, we are going to talk about that in our new business, just the number of kids coming and going. Betsy has all of that paperwork there for us. We have open house on the 19th from 4 to 6. We did, as you guys had talked about, requested, we have Jen help me, we have the Magic Guy's gonna come back, we have a small bouncy house, and some little things for the kids just out front. We're gonna set up out front and then have dinner in here. At 5 p.m., I'd like to do just a very short presentation. I thought I'd cut in the middle so people that came early or late, just introduce myself, give them a little bit of information, and then they can go to classrooms. So that will just be in here as well, on the 19th, on Tuesday. So we should be all set. Curriculum, we are all set. We ordered the science, as you guys saw on the claims, so we have science curriculum 612 for Mrs. Becker. She's very excited. We've got the class schedule all figured out, and consumables we're finally getting there. Everything that they need. So policy updates will also be tonight. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but I've got everything figured out with MTSBA that we talked about the past years. I found the board minutes. So what you guys did approve, it just wasn't uploaded into our system. So I've got all of their information and I'll get it uploaded into our system, so we'll all print on that. And then we're approving just this year's MTSBA policies. So we're good to go there. We don't have to go through 60 every month. And transportation is all set. Clay has everybody hired. We did, you guys got in the packet, we did a bus transportation handbook, as we're supposed to have that per state. All kids will have to sign off on that for field trips, for athletics, even if they're not a regular bus driver. So, and we just kind of put some policies into place for our bus drivers to make sure everybody's safe there and how we can support if there's an issue with the kid on the bus. So the bus transportation handbook is in your guys' packet. Sorry. Email. Yes.
But I have hard copies if you
Comprehensive schools, I met with them today for about 2 hours, where we had talked about being that comprehensive school, middle school and high school, and I'll meet with our middle high school teachers to talk to them about first steps. We have to put together an action plan, and there are some rules for us that we'll work really hard on that. I met with Kara and Rachel on all of our replacement classes, so we have all of our seniors and juniors ready with replacement classes. So we're moving in the right direction to get that needle moved. So everybody's on board there. Ashley, I think with the science is going to be very helpful as well. So I will keep you guys posted. That is a monthly meeting that I have to do. So if anything big comes from that, I'll let you guys know as we move through the year. And our OPI consultant will be here once a quarter. Classroom walkthroughs to meet with me to see how things are going, give suggestions, those kinds of things. So I think we have a really good plan in place. Like we had talked about middle school, we're good to go, and we're going to work really hard with our seniors to make sure they get what they need to get their graduation certificates. Yeah, so things look good, great on that. And the profile of the graduate also that I talked to you about, I've talked to OKI about that, getting our profile of the graduate started. And we have this school year because there's stakeholder input and those kinds of things. So I'll start working on that. I'll keep you guys updated on how that goes. You'll see the skills that we look at and those kinds of things. I have to talk to staff and community about. So profile of the graduate will be for all of the tiers. So looking at how we get our ELP kids ready for kindergarten, our 5th graders or 6th graders ready to move to middle school. And so it'll be each tier there, and then how we prepare those high schoolers for graduation and that kind of stuff. So it'll be a comprehensive, but we'll have that done, and we have time to get it done this year. Thankfully. Jen and I met about the website. Our communications lady there, we looked at the website, we clarified all of that. Her and Chelsea and I have also met about some of the different, how to get things pushed out and get information out to the parents' office weekend, so they know what's going on for that parent engagement piece of it. So if you're seeing that, hopefully, we're good to go. If you guys have any suggestions, let us know. And technology, Parker has met with me. We're working on Google Classroom and connecting our new curriculum to the Clever and Google Classroom for our teachers. And nothing new on our Montana Reach grant. We're working on a proposal with a consultant that will come in and actually work with teachers, do some professional development, work with me on how to utilize those funds that we have to best help kids and work on our interventions. So we're good there. I think that is all. Any questions on that?
No, thank you.
It's been a busy August.
What's Clever?
Clever is an online, you guys would know more about it than I probably would, but it is kids and staff can access Clever.
It's a single
and-
sign-in that you can get every app that you use, so like our math curriculum, any sort of interventions and stuff that the kids don't have to memorize 15 passwords. They have a one Clever sign-in for teachers and for students, and they can access anything they need to that is online in the classroom.
Thank you. I would have gotten one.
All right, thank you so much. Any questions before we move on?
Are we, I imagine it's already preset for the year for Infinite Campus to do notification on day one. What's the last 2 weeks?
We,
Like when the students are finishing grades, so that
yes,
it's not a shock.
well,
It's
I asked
too late.
Chelsea because of our discovery last year, I asked
which is out-of-district students. Please, ladies, help us understand.
So at this time, this juncture, we have 19 that are incoming, that we want to accept 19 incoming students. That Chelsea and I have gone through, we've got the paperwork for all of them. And if you look at that, 15 of those are returning students that were here last year as well. So we did pick up 4 as of right now, out of district that want to join us. And then, where they're coming from. So this is just the incoming. And then we have 12 that we need to acknowledge at this juncture that are leaving. And most of them have already been out of district. And he'll just have to sign them whether they've moved out or they, it's not anybody that we've sent to an issue as of right now.
Can you elaborate on the recommended by district? Is that our district or is that Phoenix?
So this is, we are recommending, it's our check mark, that we are recommending to take these kids. You'll see there's one kid from Missoula on there, and there are, if we want to discuss that kid specifically, we have to go into closed session. Since it's discussing state law, you can look at 3 options for not accepting an out-of-district student. Behavior, behavior, attendance, and looking at your class numbers, your class size, your staffing, if your staffing can cover that. So if we want to discuss that student that we're not recommending, we would go into closed session and discuss that student if we want. It would be for one or all of those reasons.
I personally would like to do that.
We go into closed session now and just close,
Or do we
Or
want to
the
do it
end.
until then?
because we can't,
Can we do that if it's not on the agenda?
going into closed session,
Which is confidential.
Yeah, let's just slide this down to the end, then we can go into closed session.
that sounds great.
Yes, Paul?
How many students or potential students from the school district are going out of this? It was 50 last year.
It's about the same.
Yeah.
It's about the same. Close to 50, it's like 48.
We currently have forms from just 12, that's why that's why we only have. And so that's Superior and Frenchtown, and Missoula, and other districts will send us those forms, and then we can to the students that come in. And most of them are probably at this meeting deciding if they are or not, and then the same information. So in September, we'll have to acknowledge this.
And I think we're at 48, you started out last year at 60. That's positive.
So just to be clear, to everybody in attendance, what we're gonna do is push this discussion item number 1 down to the bottom. We'll go into closed session, we'll discuss confidential matters at hand, we'll reconvene, and if you guys wanna come back in and hear our vote on whether or not we'll accept the administration's recommendations, obviously you're more than welcome to do that. All right, let's move on to discussion item number 2. This will be an action item, and it is going to be regarding the facility proposals. At the July 30th meeting, we heard proposals from Morrison Marley and, Morrison Marley and McKinstry. Representatives from both those organizations came. They gave us a detailed breakdown of what it was that they thought they needed to do to give us a fair assessment. Again, not to do any work at all, no jobs being completed whatsoever at this point. This is site survey. And we agreed to reconvene at this meeting to make a decision. Do you have anything you want to follow up on that? No. Any discussion needed, recaps on any of that? Just for anybody who wasn't here and didn't look in the minutes, we had one proposal that was about $33,000 for a site assessment, and then we had another one that was in the $50,000 range.
It was a little misleading because they had it broken into two parts, consolidated into one, when the industry had two parts, just one, they didn't break it into two. So I felt the biggest difference was one place was gonna do a 3D map of the whole school, and the other was, that, as far as I could tell between the presentations, was the difference in it. I personally don't think super fancy 3D map that we don't even have control over is worth $24,000 more. That's my personal
Basically talk about holding us responding and lots of, there's so many things I can't remember. Did we say, I feel like there was a lot of background in this.
They're significantly more well prepared as we go forward, particularly with assisting if we have to float bonds for construction, where Morrison merely did not include that as part of the presentation. So it is our belief they don't offer that. So in light of that, if there's no other discussion, I would move that we accept these previous proposals. So we get this on the road. Our school is in the right state. As he pointed out, we have a giant crack on the outside of our building that is continuing to get larger. His statement, he wouldn't park his car under it, so I think that is redundant. So that's my motion. We accept the proposal.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second to accept the bid that was put forth by McKinstry at the July 30th meeting. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Perfect.
I will call Bob tomorrow then, and we will go over, and he said that he could start in the next couple of weeks, and on Fridays, those presidents will go back there. So I'll call him tomorrow and let him know that we accepted his bid and we're ready to move forward.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to number 3, we have the approval of the handbooks.
Yes, one question.
Absolutely.
I already asked you some of the other questions I had.
Yep.
The athletic activity, have the coaches looked over any changes and they're all A-okay with this?
Yeah, Josie and I spent a lot of time, well, we went to VIA with it and got her information.
He has sent out one to all the schools, so as going to all our athletic director conferences and stuff, Via sent one out and said, this is the handbook I recommend as the lawyer to do and just put in our individual information. And she left little sections like highlighted, like put this, put in our stuff here, put in our stuff here.
Okay,
So when we got that, we decided to go with that since she's our lawyer.
sounds like hoodies, like.
Oh, can't wear hoodies, no.
Hoodies at all.
No, what
So
the
that needs
problem
to
is
be
the sleeping
worded.
in class, that there was some complaints, like with the hoodies, with the earphones, like, then they
Okay.
hide those with their phone, and so that's a conversation with the teachers, but yes, they can wear hoodies, but the
Okay,
hoodies
maybe
in
that
the
needs to
classroom.
be kind of reworded.
Okay,
a
I
little
can
bit.
just add that in there.
Okay, because I was like, no, that's, that's crazy.
Yeah, right. That's all kids wear, that's their coat for the winter, they must have their hoodies on.
But you just described the with the headphones, I was like, that's probably shit.
Like, probably cider too, but.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Ms. Mauer?
Hey, I was just curious, just as an educator in the building, clarifying the dress code just for students, and then last year, it was just back and forth, a female could only talk to a female, so they had to be sent to a female just to say, oh, the dress code violation, like I couldn't go tell a male student that they were violating the dress code. I was wondering if we could talk about that or clarify, or, because we have so much going on, I feel like dress code is kind of bottom of the burner, but I don't know, I was getting all fired up as a teacher, so I'm just trying to clarify, as a school, talking about the new handbook, just are we, I'm just curious, what do we do if we see a dress code violation, and is there a clear path to grounds of correction?
I would say in general, I don't know of any liability involved with female teachers talking to male students or vice versa.
It was administrative
Yes.
decisions that were told to us of how we were doing it.
That's laughable. How come we didn't hear about that?
I think sometimes you'll have a male teacher that might be uncomfortable, like if a girl's like wearing belly shirt or not covering, and so I've dealt with that before, so I think it's more that direction, so I'll let staff know if they're uncomfortable talking to a student or would like me there with a student, that I'm happy to do that, but obviously, if there's a student that's not dressed appropriately, yes, you can tell them that, and then if it doesn't change, then
Then
I'd
what
be the
happens?
next step.
That's
Yes.
happened where, you know, a student's wearing alcohol or drug paraphernalia shirts, and 5 times in one day, I know that I've talked to the student, and it's still not changing, so it's like, it just got tired, what do we do? What do we do? So I was just seeking clear paths.
They're supposed to, at that point, once staff member talks to them, they're supposed to change their shirts
Okay.
or take their hat off and put it away. And then again, if you need to come to me, and the hat needs to come to me, or we need to go get gym clothes for them to change the t-shirt.
We stopped
You
it
know,
on the other day, I'm gonna stop.
Perfect, so we're good to go on that situation, yeah.
Clear.
And then if it does go that far too, just a phone call to the parent, just a reminder, this is in the student handbook.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Yes.
Does that area need to be changed in our handbook?
I don't think so, because it doesn't specifically say male teacher has to talk to male, female. It sounds like that was just something that was put in place for the administration last year, but it's actually on my list for the teacher meeting, so I'll just clarify what we're talking about today.
Is that all part of, would things like that be included in pre-school year PIRs?
Which thing?
Things like what Ms. Miller was talking about?
Yep, it is on my teacher meeting. I have a number of things that were just in the handbook and people would ask me about, so I wanted to clarify a few of those things. And then we are actually, for the middle high school, doing an assembly that first 2 hours of the day in a gym to go over policy, handbook policy kinds of things, just to give kids, these are the rules, talking about the
We figured it out somewhere along the way.
Must not like that much milk then. And yeah, that's probably always been in there, because that's, you get reimbursed for the first month through the state and the second.
I move that we approve all of the student handbooks as presented, with the clarification request, about hoodies to mean hood,
Hoods,
not
not
hood.
hoodies. They are allowed to wear hoodies too small.
I have one clarification as well in the staff handbook. There are 5 paid holidays. I listed one extra, Labor Day.
The what, please? On Labor Day?
Let's see, so
I know. I inserted that one, but it shouldn't be there. It's Memorial Day. So it's New Year's Day, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Like 5 paid holidays.
All right, we have a first and a second to approve the handbooks as they were presented to us with clarifications on the appropriate donning of a hoodie. And also in the employee handbook, to include the omission of Labor Day as a paid holiday. No, it's omission. I know, it's staggering, right? You know, every year these kids go to school, Labor Day, kind of trust. But it's fitting, right? Labor, get to work, kids. We're celebrating. You haven't earned a paid day off yet. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Wonderful. Moving on, item number 4 is the 2025-2026 budget.
Oh, okay, so the budget we just touched on earlier,
What is that?
the 25-26 TFS budget, will be ready on the 15th, and we'll have to confirm this is the following Monday to approve that. And
So-
I'll make sure you have the documents before that. The Friday before.
So we are going to put item number 4 on hold for this, at this moment. And this will be the main reason for our special board meeting, which is going to happen on
August 18th.
August 18th at 6 p.m. August 18th, 6 p.m. special board meeting. Be there, be square. Talking about the budget.
Yeah. It's just a Zoom with board, 3 board members to approve it. No. But it will be recorded.
You know, but it will, the Zoom will be recorded, and then I'll put that to the website.
Will we provide a link for public?
We check on if we have to, or if we just have to record it.
Okay.
I mean,
We'll get it right. And everybody should remember that all of these documents are public and they're available to anybody at any given time. So if there are questions, you can certainly ask them, and you can also look them up.
And
On the OPI website.
Yeah.
Once the budget's approved, it'll be posted on the OPI.
All right, let's move on to item number 5, which is the substitute teacher list for 2025-2026 school year. On that list, we have one Amy Albertson, Sharon Harrison, and Jen Zimmerman.
Motion we
Kara? Kara Morris is a paraprofessional, Amber DeVoe is a paraprofessional, Madison Murphy is an interventionalist, and Harry Bardwaj as the Director of Transportation, and Ms. Risa Briscoe as the substitute bus driver of the Ford Expedition.
Do you need all this line item, or no?
We don't need to vote on these ones, right?
Yes, so
Line of sight contracts.
Yes.
If there are any issues with any one of these, we could move this to the special meeting that we're going to have, or the closed session meeting, but if there are no issues among us, then we can just approve them as a lot. Any questions or concerns?
I move that we approve position announcements for Amy Gillespie, paraprofessional, Sherry Arnett, personal care attendant, Kara Morris, paraprofessional, Amber DeVoe, paraprofessional, Madison Murphy, interventionist, and Harry Baraja, Director of Transportation, and Risa Briscoe, expedition substitute bus driver.
My second.
We have a first and a second to approve the position announcements as presented before us. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Perfect. Moving on to number 7, contractor agreement for the 2025-2026 school year for Ms. Josie Hayes Johnson, Tier 3 counselor.
I motion we approve the contractor agreement for Josie Hayes Johnson, Tier 3 counselor.
Second motion.
Before we move forward for a vote, I would like to say that I am thrilled to see your name on this agenda, and I look forward to signing this contract. Ms. Hayes Johnson is an incredible benefit to this school as far as I'm concerned, not only because she is from this town and went to this school, she has that level of background, but she is also incredibly passionate, really cares to dig in with the kids who need her. She is highly intelligent, and she is sharp as a tack, you guys. Try to slide something past her, and it's not happening. She is nothing but a benefit to our students first and our school second. So,
Well, you'll be very excited to know she's moving from 3 to 5 hours a day also.
well, I noticed,
We are very
I
excited.
perused the contract and I figured that there was something.
Yes,
Yes,
yep.
that's great.
And she is highly involved,
Highly involved.
highly involved outside of this contract position, so that's all.
Any organization that I know of would only benefit from having a person of Josie's caliber involved. So, again, thank you. We have a first and a second to approve the contractor agreement for the 25-26 school year for Ms. Josie Hayes Johnson, Tier 3 counselor. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed? Wonderful. All right, moving on to number 8, we have a new student club proposal. Please tell us about this drama proposal.
Do you know about the farm proposal?
Chelsea's proposing the drama club for this year, and let me just look at this packet. I don't remember what, because it was with Rick, yeah.
We encountered this at the end of last year. For anybody who might recall, we wanted to do a drama club. We failed to approve that at a more appropriate time. And so at that moment, we put it on the back burner and agreed to wait for this school year. So what I do remember is that Chelsea was very excited about it. And she was a little disappointed that we couldn't do it, but we also at that time were really just trying to monthly stipend for 2 hours a day versus a full-time equivalent, which is negotiated in the contract, so there would be quite a difference, I would imagine.
Yeah, and then benefits, she's already got benefits because she's a full-time employee and stuff, so it's a much smaller amount.
Okay.
And then like she said, all the fundraising, so, skips or those benefits.
I'm all for it, I just don't
Yeah.
want anyone to be like, well, what about, use it, let's not add it when we need it. Price range
It's
is
a
much
salary,
different.
and salary is a package versus a stipend for a few weeks.
Question, Paul?
What is this drama club going to do? Are they going to do the plays like, Miss Reed did? That's what they're going to do? And I would suggest to change the name from drama club and call it something more academical like thespians, which is really all organized like but the kids get a letter from the thespians, the high school kids get a letter from the thespians, which I think is one of the few letters. It's, just a suggestion.
Absolutely, that's great, great point. It would, and it will fall under the athletic, or excuse me,
The clubs.
the activities.
Yeah.
And I'm imagining too that drama advisor will have a reimbursement package that looks similar to a coach. It's great, absolutely. Do you remember those points? Oh, I have that.
And then with the plays, I don't know how many, I don't know if it's 8 play or a few plays, but there are, they will be reversed different levels.
And it says in there, putting on a production. And then we've also got the MCT for the younger kids, in the spring. Again, that's all set.
I'm able to look at our academic directors next year, but is drama a letterable program?
I will have to research that.
And if it is, we have robotics as well.
That's what I was saying, because if it's under the clubs,
Yeah.
and robotics does not get lettered, so then I think that'd be something we have to, if we want to stay.
You can get a pin though, is robotics having testing station? Because I think that Dropbox has having testing station. Is robotics at NHS?
I doubt it.
I think that I think that's what the letter is, that it has to be sanctioned.
We'll just make up our own thing.
Well, I mean, much
Don't
like,
take that as 100%, but that would be something.
I recall student council getting pins, and while they might not have been official lettering pins, they are adornments that one could wear.
And Dropbox.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'll look back to see, I can pull it all up, I just, if you're gonna do one club, maybe you're gonna rest them fit in there, so I'll look and see what.
Well, and I know there's a community drive for bringing back Letterman's jackets and letters that John is leading, so let's have things to adorn these jackets and letters. with.
Right. And just your proposal, do pins for kids for robotics and drama, thespian, pins, their and other clubs too. You would think pins for French club.
Okay, do we have any motions or comments on the new student club?
Pick this up.
Kick it off. I motion that we approve the new student club of drama.
I wholeheartedly second that.
We have a first and a second to approve the new student drama club. All those in favor, please say aye. All those who oppose? All right, number 9. Admin appointment form, joint advisory board, 25-26 school year, Missoula area cooperative. Can you please help me understand that?
Yes, we are part of the Missoula Area Education Cooperative, special ed cooperative. And so we have to appoint an administrator from the district to Josie's also is that 7-12, she will help with replacement classes and be kind of part of that too, to make sure that those kids, not just special ed kids, but any kid that has a replacement class and needs extra students.
Great. It sounds like you have a decent relationship with Stacia.
Very, we've worked together well for the last 9 years, so.
I move that we name Amanda Seer as our representative to the Missoula Area Education Cooperative.
I second that.
We have a first and a second to appoint Ms. Amanda Seer to the Joint Advisory Board for the Missoula Area Cooperative for the 2025-2026 school year. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Perfect. On to number 10, which is to approve and adopt the MTSBA policy updates for the 2025-2026 school year.
So I understand that this is all mandated by the legislators,
Yes.
regardless of whether or not we have politics.
And I double checked with Bia on them, and hers were the same as MTSBA, and they are all based on legislative changes for Senate and
This will
Yep.
update some of those that should have been updated but were not updated.
Yes, yep, and so they would kind of be mixed anyway, so we're double covering ourselves there, yeah. Any questions on anything specific that we need to improve? I know Nicole reached out right now, so. And if you read through at some point and you have questions, just let me know.
Regardless.
Anything you were concerned with?
Yeah, what she clarified, I was talking about the sexual education and it had, verbiage in there saying gender identity, and I was curious on that. And we do not, I thought that would be miscommunication solutions. She said we don't, or anything we do teach, we ask permission to miss out what we're. That's. Just curious. And she clarified.
Question? So it's not like business, huh?
We're not wild.
Any concerns, Brenda? No? Nope. You concerned with anything as our administrator?
Nope.
Anything make you want to get in your car and just drive away?
Oh, I've got a long list of them, not just you. I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. No, everything's very standard, that I've seen through there. And like I said, I double check them with Bia's, Clevis, just to make sure that we were covered both ways and that they were right, and that we could follow them. Yeah,
It seems like nothing like we've encountered like the last 2 years.
exactly.
That has been kind of
I think that one was the only kind of weird one, and it just is something for me to kind of spill some. Yeah.
That's why I asked about when to drive away, because the things I feel like that we have had to adopt in the last 2 years are enough to make an administrator just go mad. Seriously, it's just unbelievable. Okay, so looking for motions. Did I already get them?
I motion that we approve and adopt the MTSBA policy updates for the 2025 through 2026 school year.
Second.
We have a first and a second to approve and adopt the MTSBA policy updates for the 2025-2026 school year. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Number 11, here we will consider adding Mr. Patrick Manson as a signing authority at Trail West Bank. What that means basically is every check that we send out needs a signature from the clerk and from a board member. Currently, I'm the one that signs every check from the board, and for one reason or 1,000, we'd like to add another person on there, just in case I'm not available, or if there's some conflict that I shouldn't sign or anything like that. So Mr. Manson is the person who would be suitable for that. Add anything to that?
It's just for extra coverage.
I motion that we approve the signing authority at Trail
first and a second to add Mr. Patrick Manson as a signing authority at Charter West Bank. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed? Perfect. Number 12 is a motion to number 12 is a suggestion to revise the meeting time for this year's school board. And the suggestion is to change board meeting times from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Still on the second Tuesday of every month.
This works best for me to change it to 7 p.m. because I work typically till 5:30, and my new position at work is very demanding, and there's times that it's very hard for me to get out of work to make it on time, and I'm like pushing the 80 miles. I don't like driving 80 on the interstate, so it's like, here I go, okay. Especially as many deer hits as we've been seeing, it's like, so this, and then plus, and I'm starting in like last meeting, going home after 10 o'clock, it was pretty hard. So, with not having anything to eat. So it'd be kind of nice to get something, a little food in the belly before the meeting, and
And if I understand correctly, Gary had some
yeah,
reasons for
for us to, so.
And I don't,
And you would what?
huh?
You would what?
I would find it helpful to
Yeah.
just like here as well. Even if we had to split the businesses, like, there's the meeting, and then
Right.
massive change.
What about you, Ray?
But I'm here to support you guys. With no needs, then I defer to you. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry to have a different schedule, but as a parent of a first grader, I start like every tomorrow at 7. So whenever I attend the school board meeting, it pushes bedtime to be later. So it would be a challenge for me as a parent to get there at 7, but maybe there could be a Zoom link or to thinking about that, and other parents would have a similar experience with other kids.
That's totally understandable. That was kind of the one thing outside of my own personal self that I did think of that would be a little bit of a hardship for folks like that. But I don't want to answer for you guys, but my opinion is that this Zoom link would be kosher.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, let me find out how we could set that up if we could do that without.
No, we used to just simply live stream them. Some live streaming channel.
Yeah. Live stream and record at the same time. Live stream those.
Fair. Any other questions or concerns about that? We used to do it until 7. It was Damien 2 years ago that changed the meetings to 6 o'clock. We didn't talk about it much. I think we just approved it, and I think it was just to get Missoula people back to Missoula. Pretty sure. So, convenience on one end and convenience on the other, it's all kind of comes out in the wash. So,
It's seasonal.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, if it's horrible, we can always change it. So,
Or we do like if you're hot, so just make it 6:30.
for you or 7?
6:30 is doable, it's a lot more doable than trying to rush out of work and, especially if I have a customer that walks in at right at 5 and
My reason is simply parental, just, I'm in case of kiddos, just work kind of thing. So, absolutely, yeah. 6:30 or
6:30. Okay, calling it on. I move that we revise the meeting time to 6:30 p.m. Split the difference and see how that works.
Okay.
And then we can always change it again.
That is in the policies there for that 7 PM, and so I'll just, as we were talking about, I'll change that to second Tuesday at 6:30 PM. Okay?
So,
We have first and second, first and second. All right, we have a first and a second to revise meeting time for board meetings moving forward from 6 to 6:30 PM, second Tuesday of every month. All those in favor, please say aye. All those who oppose? Wonderful. What's that?
Are you calling for a closed session?
So at this time, I don't have the verbiage in front of me, we are going to go into closed session to
I have
dis-
a couple questions.
oh,
I was kind of waiting for you to ask permission for asking questions on agenda items based on during the year. A lot of those are raised their hand often, but they're supposed to ask us if they have questions, and it's appropriate time to ask them, correct?
sure.
So I have a few questions here, which things I was just reading, about the facility proposal project. This, I'm to understand the $33,000, that's McKinsey's bid for just the assessment, or that's not quoting any of the work, that's just what they're going to tell you how much it's gonna be to fix the things that's wrong.
I don't know if they're gonna tell us how much it's gonna be to do anything, but they will tell us what's wrong. We're not asking them to bid out any of that work.
Okay. So that, okay, that makes
And
sense.
they expressly said their thing is to make sure this building is safe. Priority one, student safety. So
Right.
that's what we want.
Sure, that's understandable, I just wanna make sure that we're in compliance with codes, that, being $50,000 projects, that, we open bid to the public for anybody that could come and offer those bids. for those.
Absolutely. They discussed that as part of the presentation there in pretty overwhelming detail.
Right.
Yeah, there's a line that you cross, and if the bid goes above that line, I believe it's $80,000, by law, we have to open it up. So there's definitely some stipulations we have to follow there, just by law, so, yeah, we're not asking them for any bids at all.
Right, okay. Other one would be, the nurse that's not here for 3 days a week, who administers the medication for the days for the students that are medicated here? When she's not here, who gives that medicine to the students?
She trains, so she will train myself and, or this is what I know from before. My guess is, it would be Chelsea and I will be trained on it, and usually the special ed teacher is trained on that as well, and so we'll go through a full training that's part of policy to make sure that we follow all of the administrative rules and those kinds of things. And we have a logbook that we will have to fill out every single day that I gave this at this time to this student and have to initial off there, and,
Is that a school policy or is that like state policy?
both.
Both.
Yep, yep. It's written into our handbook, medications.
My other question would be, the practices for the athletic programs, if they're academically ineligible, I wouldn't think that their practices should count towards their eligibility to be able to play, because they're not academically eligible to play. I don't understand why it would be okay for students to come to basketball practice if they're failing in class, to think that they're going to get education from the coach who should be coaching basketball practice, rather than making sure that he's or she is turning in their schoolwork. That doesn't make sense to me. If my son's an athlete, I would want him to come to practice if he's ineligible academically.
Anyone that's ineligible, we'll make sure we reach out to parents and we talk to the coaches. Obviously, the athletic director knows that, and the teachers as well. So we're paying attention during advisory time to support that kid during the class time. But if you think about basketball overall, they're learning plays, they're learning how to work together as a team, so they need to be part of that as well. So maybe during layups or their warm-ups and stretching, that kid will work or focus on their schoolwork that has been given to them. The coach won't sit there and work with them. The kid will do his work at a table, like he said, and so keep the on the table. This is a kid that, let's say he failed a big test on Friday and needs to make that test up. Well, he's still part of the team because he's gonna work over the next week to make sure he gets that grade up so he's ready for the next event. But he can't play that weekend, and that weekend, hopefully with communication with the parent, that parent is helping the kid, making sure he's getting that work done so he's ready to go for the next week participation in the actual games.
I didn't think that their daily academic achievements, they immediately got dropped off of the team eligibility because they didn't grade drop below a certain point. I thought it was based on a grade period of time.
And I guess we have to check that here, but we do our weekly grade checks is what it is. So it's not just one day if you fail the test, but usually it's a big test or a big project is where that grade will really drop. So that was just my example that I was giving. But it's not every single day we say, okay, this kid is eligible or not eligible. I think it might be every 2 weeks that they do the eligibility checks. And so I'll have to clarify because Josie's not here, but then they're ineligible until they get that grade brought back up. So they wouldn't be able to participate that week, but let's have them practice so they can see what plays they're learning. They're still part of the team because our goal is for them to be academically and athletically eligible and part of the school and being able to compete and be part of the team as that sportsmanship. So they still need to be there to see what's going on, but we will make sure that they're caught up before they go on any trip or actually play a game. And that's what the kids want to do. The practice thing for the kids isn't the most important part. It is traveling with their team to play those games. And so that, not being able to do that, that's going to hopefully push those kids to get those grades brought up so they can go and play and compete in those games with their teammates. Is that correct?
And I know from personal experience with my son last year with football, when he had a failing grade, he had up until like Monday to get his grade up according to the existing administration. And he could not go to practice. Well, that gave him the attitude of, why should I even try then? And going to practice, even when a year before, I can't remember if it was 2 years ago or whatever, he did not qualify to play football at all. He was there every single practice with his teammates. He didn't play in any games, but he loved it. And so by taking away his practice because he was having a failing grade, it just lost all interest for him. And I think it would lose a lot of interest with other people. They want to be there, and it's important for them to learn these plays and support their teammates as well, whether they're playing or not. And it is sure as hell as keeping them out of trouble.
Would you consider the possibility of the fact that he lost a whole year of eligibility because he wasn't performing is what might have inspired him to go and perform for the following year?
Well, and then the following year, yeah, he was totally inspired. You got to consider that he was allowed to go to practices, even though he was not allowed to play because he failed. He was at practice every single day. He even got a certificate for being there for like an assistant's coach and stuff, and that meant a lot to him. But to sit there and say, well, if you don't pass this by Monday, and you're still not going to practice, well, that just tore him up, and he just lost all interest. So, to me, this is motivating kids to be like, seeing what their teammates are doing out there. And it killed him to sit there, even though he went to practices and went to their games. He wanted to go out there so bad, and that's why he worked on his grades so much to participate the next year. But then when he started and was like, failed the test and couldn't go to practice, it's discouraging, yeah.
It might be discouraging, but it's kind of contradictory towards motivational purposes, in my opinion. I think
But each kid is motivated differently. And
Sure.
see, my kid was motivated of that. He wanted to be there with his teammates. And, if he would have been out there and totally practicing with them, he probably would have been way more motivated to go and get his homework done or bring his test scores up. But he just lost all motivation. So, and maybe it was part due to that and part due to the attitude he got from past administration too, so.
possibly. This is my experience, so you reward before, conformity
frustrated that we live in a system where when we have kids that kind of can't keep their stuff together, the first thing we do is take away physical activity. You got a kid who's having a problem in class, what do? You take away recess. Actually, that's what that kid needs. That kid needs to go run around. So you got a kid who's having problems in school and you take them off a team. Actually, that's what they need. They need a team. They need to be around people they like. They don't like their teacher. They don't like that stuff when you're giving them a book. None of that stuff can make a kid who can't do math like math. None of that stuff will. But if you want to set a human being up for life, don't go run around the playground. You know, take that away from these kids. I don't. I've seen like this vast irony in that action ever since I had kids that were in grade school. Really, you're gonna take recess away from them? To sit them in the same room that they're showing you they can't function in the first place? To listen to the same person that can't get through to them in the first place? It just doesn't fit for everybody, and I can't do that. And then when we talk about what Karina's saying, the policies that we've had in the past, it's one step forward, two steps back. So you take kids off of practice, so now they're gaining nothing towards eligibility for the next game, and they get their grade up. Awesome, they got their grade up. But since they haven't practiced, they can't even play the game. And so what we're trying to do in this sense is we're trying to get these kids set up so they can go play the game. A kid that goes to practice and can't play the game, tell me how much fun that is. Siler Stanley had 0 fun for that year that he went out to every single practice, and he wasn't even eligible. It was MHSA guidelines that keep kids who fail for an entire semester, they keep them off the field, so we can't even let them play in a game. But he went out there and he practiced knowing he was never even gonna play a game. 0 fun whatsoever. And that, as Karina said, that kid thrived. I watched it. Thrive. Because that's what matters, getting out there, physical activity, hanging out with the buddies, putting your arm around somebody, giving somebody a high five, saying good job. Having community members come up to you and say, man, good job doing what you're doing. Even if maybe I was the only one. But I couldn't even believe that Siler showed up to practice every single day without a hope of ever playing a game.
So good job failing, that's what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying good job failing at all, because I don't see showing up to practice every day as failing. I didn't talk to that kid once about his grades. I leave that to the school people. I got no opinion on your kid's grades. I got no opinion on her kid's grades. I only care about my kid's grades. I don't put my nose in other people's business like that.
Right.
If you're showing up to do that community event, like sports, I'm gonna let you know I think you're doing a good job. That's community. Your kid's math grade, that's not community.
In the community, maybe, but not at the school. School here is for the grade of education, and I think if you have a standard they have to meet to be able to be a part of it, it'll inspire them to contribute better and not be failing grades to begin with, if they know they're not going to be able to play.
We have a standard. Kids need to pass their classes to play games. To travel on our bus, use our gas money. We got standards for that.
I don't think we're gonna change your mind on this, and I don't like the direction you're taking it. It's frustrating me, your comments you're making.
What, my opinion? Okay. I don't like your guys'
I don't
opinion.
wanna interact with this conversation.
You have more questions?
Of the students that are leaving the district, you said that 12 are leaving that were currently attending here?
No, those 12 were already out of district. They are part of the out of district list. We've only gotten 12 so far, but they were out of district last year.
Okay.
Yeah. Or they were students that were in our area, but like out of district, those 12.
Okay. I think that covers it.
Okay.
Okay. At this time, we are going to close the room to a special session so we can discuss,
We'll need to adjourn.
Were you guys here for a reason? Like a
No,
special-
you're here to support, I'm
Oh,
Sheriff
okay, I
Wayne
was like, I
Castro.
didn't know if you
No,
had.
I'm part of the DUI task force,
Uh-huh.
and just want to let you know that we are here to support you guys and your needs. We put some suggestions forward that you thought were not needed yet, so just want to come in and let you know that we're here to support you guys for what you need.
Thank
That's
you.
all. Just put a name to a face, that's all.
Thank you so much.
Meet you finally. And you know, that, they weren't quite ready for that, but they were happy that you guys were at games and they're keeping an eye on it. We're monitoring those things too, and at this time don't feel like it's a problem. And I think if it is, that's something to revisit, is what you guys have kind of
Right,
talked
and
about.
Superior School's still
In our
the same way.
Yep, okay.
So, you know, we talked to Mr. Labby yesterday,
Gotcha.
and we're just going to, you know, be there for you and suggest flyers of the rules, the belligerents. You get removed from a game, you're out for 3. You come back from the suspension, you do it again, you're out for the year, and we're here to help you manage that conflict.
Is this with students or parents, or both?
Both,
This was when we talked about the not bringing the drinks.
Right.
You know, the.
outside,
water
alcohol,
bottles, outside
alcohol,
drinks,
drugs,
so-
all the things you already have
Yeah.
in your policy. So we'll work together and get through it together.
Thank
All
you
right.
for bearing
Thank you.
with us.
Okay.
I motion that we adjourn this.
I would think I was
Board meeting, so we'll
I
to.
would go superior, I'd like to just introduce myself all the meetings.
We have a first and a second to adjourn this year board meeting. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Yeah.